Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick video about key switching as promised so that we don't have to explain it as we're creating any sounds that use key switching, if you know what I mean. Let's go. Okay, so I've just loaded up this will be a short video by the way, I've just loaded up a couple of patches, one in Contact and one in the Best Service Engine. So if you look at the Contact keyboard down here, this blue region is describing your playable range. So this is a low brass patch. And then this little piece of user interface here is describing which articulation is a way of playing an instrument. Which articulation is selected at the moment is this one. So we've got short, short alternate, long, long nasty, legato, blah blah blah, lots of different variations of this. So at the moment we selected short, and as you can see, as I change these articulations here, it's represented by this part of this portion of the keyboard at the bottom. So this keyboard at the bottom here, these keys are the ones that switch between the articulations. Okay, so if I play and then I change key or change the key switch to something else, actually that disappears because I don't have those samples loaded. Let's try the longs. Bomb notes. Let's try something else. So you've got long, which is quite mellow, long nasty, Batman, that kind of thing. By the way, all the Albion instruments, the Spitfire instrument, they're all over films and TV and ting and ting. And legato, what legato does is it forces the patch into mono, but it glides between notes. So it's trying to represent a more realistic way of playing. So no matter how many notes I hold down, it'll only actually play one note and it'll glide between them as if a real player is playing this brass. Clip. So these are all FX patches. All cool stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The key switches are just to change the way that the instrument's played. I just want to have a quick look at the Best Service Engine as well, because it does it in a very similar way, if not identical. So what have I chosen here? A ney, which is like a Persian Middle Eastern flute. Where are we? I've got my octaves selected. So yeah, you've got these white notes here, which is again representing the range at which you can play. If I play up here, there's no samples there because the real instrument wouldn't ever play that high. So that's why you don't have the option to play that high. And then we've got their key switches down here represented in yellow. So each time I do a key switch, it changes the way that the instrument's played. I'll just move my headphones out of the way. Take a look at just take a look at this little yellow portion down here as I'm playing, and it'll show you which key switches are being selected. So what you can do is, let me just take the tempo down a little bit. There you go. Something like that. So I just wanted to get some MIDI in, and so we've got these notes in now, so I think these are the key switches. I just need to double check where the key switch ranges are. Yeah, there. So we know that these notes down here are the ones that trigger the key switches. So once you've got the MIDI in, you can then do things like, let me just change that note. So you can put a key switch in down here. So that has changed the articulation, this note here. Because I put the MIDI in, the Best Service Engine knows to change the articulation for that note. So let's do something else up here. And let's do something else up here. Was it these ones? Okay, so yeah, each time you put a note in down here in the key switch region, it's going to tell the instrument to play slightly differently. Now, with things like Best Service Engine and Contact instruments, they have varying levels of programming. Contact in particular has some really in-depth scripting that you can do in the background. I have no idea how to do it. But it can even change the way the samples are played based on how you go from one note to another. So if you're holding down a C and you go up to a G, it will change the sample depending on how hard you hit that G. So you can do all sorts of fancy stuff behind the scenes, but the key switching is the main way in which these articulations are played in. I mean, you can do it live, but it gets quite confusing because you're never going to remember. All the different instruments have different kind of varieties of key switching. It's going to be very hard to remember what does what. So a lot of this, I would always do this afterwards. I'd play the notes in and then I'd do the key switches afterwards. So I just wanted to make a quick video about how I'm doing that. So if I use any of these instruments in the actual track, I don't have to explain it as I go along, so you know how to do that already. All right. Hope you found this useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.